Hi everyone, welcome back to Novel Nomad and welcome to another book haul. I know, I just recently posted my birthday book haul, but technically I did film that back in early December. I haven't just got around to posting it. So this is my Christmas plus a little bit going into New Year's book haul, which is completely and utterly acceptable because that's like a month difference. So I can have these many books in a month, right? We're just gonna say yes on that one. So these are a wonderful combination of beautiful gifts that I got from friends, gift cards as well, things that I've purchased with gift cards, and then a little bit of sneaky treats that I bought for myself with the sales that are on. Like, I'm not gonna pass up the opportunity to go on some bookish sale sprees. So without further ado, let's get started with the presents from friends. Starting with my gorgeous friend Chloe, who utterly spoiled me this year. These are some of the bookish gifts that she got me. She also was the one who bought me that amazing, ginormous The History of the Library book in my earlier book haul, but these ones are ones that she gave to me in person. Number one is The Wildwood by Colin Malloy and has been illustrated by Carson Ellis. Now this one I have had on my radar for quite a long time. I think the first one, or at least the first two, had come out in Canada when I was over there studying, and it is just so beautiful, the covers and the illustrations. It follows a young girl and her younger brother who are abducted by crows and taken to a wood, and then she is rescued by her friend Curtis, who is then dragged into the world of Wildwood, and they go on, of course, a wonderful adventure. But I think the element of the wood and the forest is going to be very reminiscent of the Portland, Oregon and Vancouver, like Rockies area. So I think I'm going to be very easily able to imagine the beautiful forests and mist and just wonders in these forests, in the Wildwood I should say. So thank you so much. She actually found me the hardcover as well, which is even more beautiful. So thank you so much, Chloe. I love this book. I can't wait to read it. The other book she got me is quite personalized because she's currently living it up in Paris. Very jealous, eating all those gorgeous pastries, I hope. But she got me the Shakespeare and Company, A History of the Rag and Bone Shop, and this is so exciting. I had seen on their Instagram that they were publishing a history book, and I think it's being sold exclusively through the store, but the fact that she got me a copy was absolutely wonderful because I have been to Shakespeare and Company I think twice now, and I absolutely adore this bookshop. It is like the ideal bookshop, and it's also been around and catering for bibliophiles for many decades. But this is also a history book, so we can't let aside my history nerd not get in the way for a moment, because Paris, going through 70 years of Parisian history seen through the eyes of a bookshop owner, this is going to be fantastic. So thank you so much for picking this out for me, Chloe. It is utterly gorgeous. Chloe also had custom made for me this tiny little badge. I'm not sure if you can see it too well. I'll do a close-up in a moment. But this one here is actually a badge of the Night Circus, and it is one of my absolute favourite books, and I forced the book upon her to read it, and she loved it as well, but she knows the Night Circus is one of my absolute favourites. And so they've custom made me a little Night Circus pin. So I've got the circus tent, of course, black, white and red. The red dash of red is important. And then you have around the edges of the pin is the clock face. And that is also a very central theme to the circus, is the circus clock. So it is a beautiful pin, and I did get a few other pins. They're not quite bookishly related though. So tell me down below if you want to see my enamel pin collection, because that could be a very long video. I think my bookmark collection or my enamel pin collection. So you tell me. You can decide for me which video I should do. Moving straight on with the books, we have The F Word by Jane Caro and Catherine Fox. This is a feminist book with the bras and hats and dummies and things, and how from Australian women's perspective, how feminism really became a bad word in the 70s and how it's trying to be reclaimed, and how women are trying to trying to balance this kind of expected life against a life that they want to lead, and how that can be changed in this new idea of feminism. So really interesting. I would love to get to it, and thank you very much to Alyssa, who recommended the book to me, but not only that, she bought it for me. So I will look forward to reading this, and we can discuss all about it later. Next up, I have a book that I saw over on Instagram and also Jean's Bookish Thoughts channel, and I basically pestered my brother with multiple notifications saying please buy this for me for Christmas, which he did, which was wonderful. And that is Mary Beard's Women and Power, another feminist book. Super shiny though, like that foiling just like sucked me in. It is a manifesto where she talks about women and power, and how women with power have been treated, and how power has always been viewed as masculine, even in the classical world, and how that has been denied of women. So another interesting feminist short read, thankfully, something quite short, but a really fascinating book combining feminism and history. Two more non-fiction that I bought with a gift card. I can't remember who from, so thank you very much to everyone who gave me those lovely gift cards. They were well received and quickly used. So let me get straight into the books. And the first one is Outsiders, 5 Women Writers Who Changed the World. And this is published by Virago Press, who I absolutely love their goals and aesthetics. So of course I saw this book on their promotional email, but the 5 women that they focus on in this book is none other than Virginia Woolf, Olive Shrivner, George Eliot, Emily Bronte, and Mary Shelley, who is one of my absolute favourite writers. But all of these women, I have read some form of their work and enjoyed it to an extent, or found it problematic or highly fascinating. Obviously I have quite a few feminist texts right now, but there's just so many coming out, and to have something that from a writer's point of view, and also a historical writer, so seeing where women have changed the novel historically, is quite fascinating as well. There's quite a few feminist themes going through this book haul, but this is The Invention of Angela Carter, which is a biography by Edmund Gordon, and it follows Angela Carter, who is one of my absolute favourite feminist writers. She wrote a lot of magic realism during the 1970s and 80s and into the 90s, and unfortunately she died quite young, but she's using a lot of fairy tale and myth in her writing. I have one of her other books in my earlier book haul, The Bloody Chamber. I got a really fancy cover because I absolutely adore her writing, but this biography by all accounts is incredibly well done, and I would like to know more about the woman herself because I know her writing, so I'd like to see the woman behind it. Next is a book I quickly got talked into over the Christmas period, but I've already read it, so I can't really complain about it, and that is Blackwing by Ed MacDonald. It is a dark fantasy, and it is a rather fantastic dark fantasy. It is a first book in a series, but it is one of those books that has a complete plot arc. There is no kind of like huge cliffhanger that is left. You are left with this expectation and excitement for what could possibly happen next, because what happened in this book was so amazing. It left it at a very high pinnacle for him to achieve for the next book. So this book, Blackwing, follows Captain Gal Harrow, who is a Blackwing, and Blackwing is one of the unnamed magicians who is incredibly powerful, and they're fighting against the Deep Kings, who in a way are their own magicians, and this war has been going on for centuries. The world is so well built without dragging you down. The characters are despicable and, you know, annoying, frustrating characters who are so self-focused but have these redeeming qualities that you just can't look away from. And so this was an incredibly intense read. There was something dangerous happening at every turn, but I utterly adored it. So if you're looking for a well-plotted and well-paced dark fantasy, look no further than Blackwing. It is a new release, and I now need to wait a year until the second one's release, but it cannot come soon enough. Lastly, going along with my t-shirt, which is The Ripped Bodice, I ordered a few books from the independent bookstore Ripped Bodice in LA, and they are none other than the 4th book, Beard in Mind, in the Winston Brothers series by Penny Reid. Beard in Mind follows Beau and Shelley's story, and Shelley is actually related to the Knitting series this is a spin-off from. Penny Reid's depiction of OCD in this story is absolutely mind-blowing, and how the relationship develops and how they manage to understand each other even with these conditions, and seeing how they can move on from there, and how this love and this desire to be together even through any obstacles and deterrents, how it can be achieved. And it's also a really good book because it has a younger male character who is falling in love with an older woman about 10 years her senior. So that is quite interesting for a romance book. Quite unheard of actually, but refreshing nonetheless. And lastly, my last bookish purchase so far for this year is The Sewage Solution by G.L. Carriger. This is actually Gail Carriger of the steampunk fame. This is more of a modern novel set in a more contemporary society, still with the vampires and werewolves and different things like that, shapeshifters. This is mainly a shape-shifting book, but Sewage is more of a magician, which is unlike her other books. They don't technically have magicians, so it is a very interesting read. I think it might actually link up with her other books, but this is set in a contemporary society, and it is really interesting depiction of a gay relationship, and I utterly adored it. So I definitely wanted to get a physical copy because I do adore Gail Carriger's writing. Okay, these are my purchases and gifts and presents so far. I have no doubt that I will buy more. It is a constant cycle of buying, reading and loving my book collection. But if you have any of these on your to be read piles, or if you want to read any, let me know, and if I read them I will give you all the goss down below, and tell me a book you've recently purchased and added to your collection. So happy reading, and I'll see you next time. Bye!